If you needed convincing that the esports phenomenon is taking hold in Australia, then the latest move by the AFL should sway you. It's announced plans to build a new stadium in Melbourne specifically for electronic sports. The Crows have made a significant investment in a digital competition by buying Team Legacy, whose professional players train up to 5 hours a day. But how does sitting in front of a screen compare to the punishment of being an AFL footballer? Let's find out in a quick-fire Q&A.
Jacobs, Ryder, Jacobs!
I train about 4 hours with the team at night.
Not as long as in pre-season.
Probably on average 14 to 16 hours a day.
Probably 2 hours a day, I'd say.
8 hours.
Make some noise for Legacy's Probe.
6 times a week.
5 times a week.
Every day.
Desperate efforts have been inspirational.
We don't get to travel often.
Every second week.
Hell of a lot.
Every second week.
If you're the best team, you'll probably leave the country 3 times a year.
At major tournaments I compete, maybe once a month.
Most days.
Pretty much every day.
For 10 weeks, every weekend we'll play a game.
We compete about every 2 months.
Before games, I tend to actually try and cool down and not think about it too much.
And make sure the team's up at least 2 hours before the game.
For me, it'd probably be 2.5 hours.
About 2 hours.
I just get up and do my own thing and then see what happens when the game comes around.
Claire is an MVP candidate at the moment.
On average, a game would last 10 minutes and you have it like a best of 3, so 30-minute series.
2 hours. 3 hours, maybe.
It takes about, say like an hour average.
The shortest game is maybe 25 minutes on the competitive stage, and then it can go from anywhere till maybe 50 an hour.
Doesn't matter. And Strawbella gets rid of the mech.
I have 5 teammates.
44.
I have 4 teammates.
21 each week.
Well, StarCraft's a 1v1 game, so by myself, but Legacy does have a StarCraft division and they help me, and there's 5 or 6 players on it.
44. 21 on the field.
Only 1 coach.
15.
2 coaches.
StarCraft coaches, just me.
There's that many these days, I'd say 15 to 20 out there at the moment.